You know who else is miserable right now? Is Disney. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. I want to talk about Disney for a second, and there's two different things here. First of all, Disney Plus, everybody. People are going nuts about Disney Plus because they are actually going to drop a bunch of content. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of shows and movies from either Disney Plus, Disney's going to do this, or Hulu, because they own both, because of course it's Monopoly. We know what that is. The mouse owns everything. So anyways, so on May 26th, they're going to drop a bunch of things. Big ones like Willow, Big Shot, Turner and Hooch, the Mighty Ducks. They had a spinoff show that's going just beyond. Diary of a Future President, The Mysterious Benedict Society, even The World According to Jeff Goldblum. I'm sorry, Jeff. You're fucking awesome. Friend of the show. I'm sorry about that shit. That Jeff. Sucks. And also, like, on Hulu, Why Last Man? You have those. You have The Hot Zone. You have Maggie, The Pistol and the Demon. There's a bunch of shows that are going. Howard one, everybody's been, like, going up and crazy on online about Howard, which is about The Little Mermaid, the person who actually, like, composing a bunch of the lyricists for a bunch of Disney stuff. That is going to stay, actually. They said it's going to stay. But there's still like... For now. But there's still like... It's insane. There's like 50-some things that are leaving Disney Plus. It's like... They're also going to do what... They're doing the same thing that HBO Max did. I talked about before about the impairment charge. $1.5 billion to $1.8 billion, saying these were failures. We're going to take them off our content. We're never going to show them again. We're going to collect the tax incentive off of it because we lost money on these. So all these movies, all these shows, they're saying we lost money, they're gone, goodbye. We don't publicize them, we don't put them out there anymore. Give us some money. Disney's doing that, which is fucking nuts to me, especially because
I'm not here for that game that they're playing. All these fucking streaming services are dropping things for like a few weeks and then pulling them and saying, "Oh, well, we have to get a tax break now." Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense, Rachel. It's like, especially once it's done and it's been out there for like
a lot of these shows.
And then some of these shows been out there for a while. You know, Jeff Goldblum show did 2 seasons, and you're taking it off the air. Like, go fuck yourself. If you make it, it's done. It's in the can. It's out there. It's not like you're licensing it. It's created by you. It's on your network. Why should it ever leave? It should never leave.
That was the point. Because when Disney Plus first came out, they were kind of like, nothing's ever going to be pulled from this.
We're never going back to the vault, they said.
There's
no more vault.
New vault.
Yeah.
New vault.
So now they're just pulling shit. So they're going, and I guess it's like TV shows. It's not films. They're not like canning Snow White.
There's films. There's films there too.
There are films.
There's a bunch of films. Because like a lot of the films that are going are
from
like
Hulu. I'm talking about specifically Disney Plus.
No, they're from Disney Plus. There's
there is films from
there are films.
Like,
and
a bunch
documentaries and making of and
they're
all
not
those
the
things.
Disney classics type stuff. It's not.
Not like Cinderella, but other
ones that they just came out with though. But they were like big investments for them. They were like pimping them hard. They were pushing. Them. They were like, "Oh, we just came out."
They advertised Disney Plus as like a forever platform for things. Once it was on there, it's on there.
Yeah.
And now they're shit canning a bunch of stuff to get the tax breaks, which is stupid and grimy and grifty.
And not shocking.
Not shocking at all. But I'm really not enjoying this trend of HBO doing this, Disney Plus doing this. It's going to keep happening. So it's going to come to a point that if you want to watch something, you have to watch it immediately once it comes out, or you're not sure if it's going to fucking be there.
Yeah.
It's like Why the Last Man. I was going to watch that, and I've been sitting on it. Because I'm like, it's not a priority to me, but it was like something that I was going to get to eventually. But I wanted to wait until see how many seasons it got. Like I wanted to see if it got 2 seasons and then like pick it up. But now it's been completely removed. And I'm like, well, I was going to at least watch the first season of that because the concept of why is really interesting.
And 99% of the stuff is not going to get a physical release or doesn't have a physical release.
Well, that's right.
So it's just gone from existence at this point now.
It's like
never see it again.
And there's so many comic things like that, like these like independent comics like that. They get these shows that get like a first season that just like get put in a vault that nobody ever gets to see. It's like the Global Frequency like that got made that first season that nobody ever saw, and like shit like this now. It's like, can we like get these comic shows, these graphic novel shows that people keep like making and like not giving to us, and then like stick in a vault somewhere? Like it's kind of fucked up. Like to do this to these creators and like give them a chance to have their work put out there, and then like completely strip them away from them.
Creators, actors,
royalties too.
Yeah,
that's a big They're already fucking people on the streaming. We know that already because there's a writer's strike. They're already fucking people on that. And now you take it away and you're taking a tax incentive. It's like, and you'll never see that again. Like you're saying, Lexi, there's no DVD releases. There's no Blu-ray. There's none of that. You'll never find this shit again on a Disney logo because they're taking this incentive. They're writing it off pretty much.
Look at the timing. Look at the timing. It's like an extra fuck you to the writers. Because like the little bit of money you could have been making from us, we're going to take that away too. Like that's fucked up.
It's
like unless you're a Stranger Things or something, you're not getting a DVD release. Like it's not happening. Like you're not getting on a media platform of any sort in this day and age. And I mean, we've been going. I go to Target. I still buy physical media. Obviously, it's sitting on a shelf behind me. And, I mean, I buy physical media every time I go out somewhere, and it's like every time I go to Target now, that section is like just like smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm like,
Are you not worried that it is going to go away and it's going to be like VCR tapes? Like, what are you going to do with that?
Well, on the other side of it,
awesome.
People are charging exorbitant prices for them now too. So like now I'm going out to like these little stores and stuff like that. People are charging like $50 and like $100 for.
That's what happens
for a DVD.
That's what happens.
I used to pay $1 for these things. Like most of my collection back there, it's like most of it came from bins for like $1. Yep. And it's like now I can't get most of this stuff, and I ignored stuff. I'd be like, oh, I can grab that anytime. And now all of a sudden it's $100 on like eBay, and you're like, well, I'm glad I didn't pick that up. And it's like the game isn't fun anymore to buy because it's like the collector's market has turned into like idiocy. Like everybody's just charging way too much for this shit, and like you can't go out and just buy stuff anymore in the store anymore because it's like they just don't have it. So buying physical media is becoming hard, but then they're doing shit like this where they're pulling everything off of these platforms. So where are you getting things? Like when you go out and you find something and you like it and you care about it, and then someone goes, pulls it right off the platform, like instantly, like what do you do in that case? It's like in this day and age, how do you protect media? Like that's my question, because part of
you sear it into your mind.
I think Rachel has a comment on this.
I have a question. So The Valley, your show.
Yes.
Does that have a physical release?
We do have a physical. No, we were supposed to, but we don't anymore. We were supposed to, but it fell through.
If platforms decided to pull The Valley, your show no longer exists effectively.
It's true.
No, that's totally different because it's not owned by a platform. It's something that is distributed through a platform.
On the discussion of things being pulled,
but we own that property. They cannot hide that away, and we can never get it again. We can always seek to distribute it through someone else.
But if they pull it from all of those platforms,
like, oh my God, guys!
And I liked your show, and I'm not your friends, and I'm dude out in Iowa, but like I'm dude in Iowa just happens to have been a big fan of The Valley, and they pull it from streaming.
Fuck yeah, Iowa.
And now I have no access to The Valley.
Okay.
That's it. It's gone. Now what do I do in that situation? I can't buy it.
You tell Hulu and Netflix to pick it up for season 2. That's what you do.
Hold on. I have an answer. The thing is that they can't pull that type of content. They're pulling things that they own. They're pulling things that they created. They're pulling things that they can claim as a loss on their taxes. So The Valley is not going to be in one of those things.
Right. It wasn't an exact one-to-one, but it was just an example of here's a show point is, that you can't get physically.
Yeah.
Right, but okay, I get that. However, the point is that like if they are pulling their own content so that they can literally claim a tax loss, that's basically what it is. They can claim a tax loss and be like, now on my taxes I have a $1.6 billion loss because of all these properties that failed. Then whatever. Thank you. I mean,
it's 1.6 to 1.8. It's fucking nuts.
Okay, so I said 1.6. You felt the need to correct me?
Well,
like,
no,
really?
I wasn't correcting you. I was adding into the 1.8. It's
1.6 to 1.8. Great. You know what? You're ruining my train of thought.
It's called tag team. Back again.
Okay, I'm gonna tag team you onto the mattress later, and not in a good way.
Whoa.
So yes, there's like they're just pulling their shit because it helps them get a tax break. And they don't give a shit about the people who made the show, the people who are getting residuals from the show, the people who use that show as their show reel. You know what I mean, for things that they've done. So they are doing this purely out of a greedy situation where they want to have control over their finances, and it makes the company look better as well. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, we didn't have that much of a loss because we reported this 1.6 to 1.8. Thank you, Brian. Deficit that they wouldn't have been able to claim earlier. So like it makes their books look better. It makes their financials better, and literally makes their financials better because they don't have to pay as much because they're reporting that as a deduction. So like they're doing it out of a very selfish reason.
Be changed because the government doesn't feel like fucking changing tax laws because they're probably using the same shit to write off their own losses and take it back into their pockets.
I mean, I feel like the tax situation got a lot worse 3 years ago. Like a lot worse for people in the entertainment industry. Like it's just been a real struggle. Like
it's
where you used to get a refund, now you got to pay. Like it's like a whole nightmare.
The federal government took away all the tax incentives for any kind of entertainment industry.
I don't think that Disney
stuff like this because they can still make Batgirl and shit can it and take a fucking tax write-off.
Yeah,
for it.
That's what happened with Batgirl.
These are ginormous corporations. It's a different story. It's not a regular person, you know?
That's what I'm talking about. They need to change the corporate tax laws.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
100%.
Yes.
I would
and this
love
is
that.
100% just like Batgirl, except Batgirl never be seen. This was actually seen for.
They could have at least let us watch it first and then shit canned it.
And then do it. Because now we know that works. Which is insane to me. But also, like, so Disney's in a bad place. They did this. But on top of that, you know, everybody knows. I mean, maybe they don't, but most people know they created a whole Star Wars hotel on top of that. Right?
Oh, God. This is a
Galactic
lot.
Cruiser.
It's like not even been a year. And apparently, the Star Wars hotel has failed everybody, which is very unfortunate because, like, it's one of those things that I was like,
it was $5,000 for 2 nights. They fucked themselves.
That's what I'm saying. Rachel, you're right.
I need everyone to drink right now. I need everyone to drink right this minute.
Hold on 1 second. After just 1 year of opening, a 2-night voyage would cost, if you got the premier room, $20,000 for 2 nights. For the biggest premier VIP room, $20,000. 2 nights. And the average they were saying was $1,200.
That's more expensive than fucking sandals. And I keep desperately wanting to go to sandals, and I can't afford a sandal. That shit's too expensive. And that's like for one of the cabana rooms that's like way out on the ocean with a little hammock over the thing. Like that shit's so fucking pimp, and I want to do that shit, but that shit's like $7-8 to do, and that's the most expensive sandals vacation.
It's a twofold problem with Disney and not Galaxy's Edge, that's in the theme parks, but the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
The first problem is the price. The entry price is too fucking high. Because if you had lowered that price, people, if you had even made it like $3,000 for 2 nights, people would have done it. But they didn't want to do that, so they just shit canned the whole hotel. The second problem is that there's the storyline that goes with it, and for the media nights, they didn't tell the media to not leak the story. To not talk about what the storyline was. So what's the point of paying $5,000 for 2 nights when you already know the storyline?
Like, I'm super here for like a themed Star Wars hotel. Like, I'm 100% here for that. But I'm not here to pay like $5,000 for it. And I'm definitely not here to be forced to engage in some kind of story. Like, I'm not a cosplayer. I'm not a like fun.
You don't want to LARP Star Wars?
No, I'm not here for LARPing. Like, that sounds so lame. Like, I just
it looks so cool.
It seems really cool. I would have really liked to do it in a few years when they
Can't they give me like a version of it where I can just go to the hotel and hang out and like do things that isn't like
no, it's the exclusivity.
And unfortunately, September 28th or 30th is the last time you can go there. And this picture right next to her now, Lexi, looks pretty fucking cool. You got like an alien singing on stage. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I love
having some freaking cosmopolitans
in Vegas.
I mean, a lot of the concept art never really fully came to fruition because Bob Chapek pinched pennies and like fucked up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was never really as cool as it was supposed to have been, and then also it was too expensive. So they really just fucked themselves over on all fronts. It's embarrassing.
It's really sad too because it would be such a good concept, and it's like it's $1 billion project they had for the whole Star Wars thing. And this is incorporated into it, and I remember I saw the early picture. I'm like, this looks fucking cool. I'm like, I want to go stay at this place, and then it's like, you see the numbers, and you're like, how can anybody afford this? How can any family afford this? Like just for like a family of like 3, it was like $6,000. You know what I mean? For 2 nights. For 2 nights. That's not reasonable.
To be fair, it's not that much more than going to Disney. Period.
No, I mean, but you
don't even get to go into the parks for that much.
Yeah, you're gonna tie it in though.
The park ticket is included in this $5,000
You get to go in for 1 day into Galaxy's Edge. So you get Hollywood Studios for 1 day, and that's what's included.
Like a cabin with 2 guests. A cabin with 2 guests, $4,809. With 3 guests,
it's obviously not for normal people.
$5,209. You know?
No, and that's why it failed.
It's not for you. It's not for me. It's for like super rich people, and super rich people don't give a shit about Star Wars. People don't give a shit about Star Wars that are super rich. They care about their Bugattis and like their accountant and their super rich fucking house that they live in. They don't give a shit about Star Wars.
Do you remember in Vegas the Star Wars or Star Trek experience they built?
No,
I didn't see that.
No, I'm not ancient.
They didn't. They built it in your lifetime, asshole.
It was built, but I was too young to give a shit.
Rude.
They built that in one of the casinos.
It closed in 2002.
Yeah, well,
I was 11 when it closed.
In your lifetime. But they did have the whole like Star Trek experience in Vegas, where it was like they had the casino that was just like in the whatever, and it was very similar to this kind of thing. And
yeah, but you don't have to pay $5,000 to get in.
But that was just it. You don't have to pay $5,000 to
money.
Yeah.
You go gamble in it. You could hang out in it, and it had different tiers. Like it had the experience that you could have, but it then also had like you could just hang out in it, whatever. And I feel like if they had done that with this and had the different levels, like we could go in and interact with it as a person. But then
like anyone, yeah.
Yeah, like that's what would have allowed it to succeed. But just having it locked off like this and being like, oh, it's only this kind of experience.
Well, the
nobody else can get into it. Like,
so you didn't want someone walking around in a goofy hat.
Then you have an area that's immersion, and you have an area that everybody else can engage in. Like you have a 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Like you created a way to like bring that in. It's like it's stupid to just like split it entirely up like that and then charge that much money because it's just like.
I mean, that just seems a poorly thought out plan. That's way too expensive. And if they would have made it more affordable, it would have paid itself off maybe in a little bit longer time. But instead of being like constantly unbooked, they have actors in the lounge like playing parts like at the jazz club and you know what I mean? Like it's a very, very expensive thing to run. And like when you're putting prices like that and it's not filling seats, like you need to make a change. Like it's not going to happen.
They overpromised, underdelivered, and charged too much for it.
It looks so good. I wanted to go so bad. Never see it. Quack, quack, quack away. It's gone.
Sorry, that was me.
Some people were super mad about it too. Like they said
the quacking.
I love the quacking.
I remember like there was one episode where Lex is like, sorry about my quacking, and I busted my ass out laughing. It's pretty good. Laugh, quack, 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 laugh, laugh, quack. You know, it's good.
It's
and in a way,
Disney. I love them so much.
Disney's going to have Disney's Florida parks are going to have a lot of financial issues coming up because of the legislation that Ron DeSantis is putting in. A large percentage of the Disney fans who are willing to pay a lot of money are gay, and they do not feel welcome in Florida anymore.
Let me ask you
they're
something,
going to start
Rachel.
losing a ton of money.
Why do they not feel welcome in Florida? They told Ron DeSantis to go fuck himself so that
He's still passing all these laws.
He is, but Disney is literally taking a huge stand.
I'm not talking about Disney. I'm talking about the people who pay to go to Disney.
Right, but like I'm saying, Disney itself is taking a stand against Ron DeSantis and literally took away $1 billion housing project in order to be true to that.
If you have a trans kid, you can't take your kid to Disney because the state of Florida passed legislation that even if you don't live in the state of Florida, they can take your fucking kid because they're trans and you're giving them trans health care.
So
if I was a parent, I wouldn't go to fucking Florida.
Yeah, but if you're visiting Florida for a week, like I don't see how that's really relevant.
It shouldn't be, but the way the law is written, it is. And if you have any sort of custody disagreement going on, you're extra fucked. So it's too sticky of a situation for a lot of people to feel comfortable going.
I hear like sticky situation. I think about Wednesday. Sorry.
About what?
Wednesday.
Oh, the pineapple. Yeah, I got it. Rude.
Rachel, okay, so that's fucked up. I also want to ask you another thing because what do you think about people have been going nuts online about Disney Plus thing about how like Willow's gone. Like Willow had like a lot of gay characters involved with it, and it was like they're one of their biggest like gay character show. Do you think it's a bad thing they're taking down content like that actually represents a different kind of community that they don't have?
I don't think they thought about it. I think they just looked at their bottom 10% of shows and just cut. They drew a line and just cut anything below it. I don't think that much thought was put into it.
People are going nuts about it online though too. You too, Lexi. You think that's a thing?
See, I struggle with a lot of this kind of thing, like where I was going back before, where I was talking about preserving media. I believe in preserving all media. Like, it's always tragic to me when I hear about like fires that take things out, or I like when I hear about the BBC's like loss of like entire episodes of Doctor Who or anything like that. Like, I know that we live in a current climate where there's a bottom line and media is entirely created for the purpose of money. And it's disgusting to me because like film and art and this kind of thing, like, it's really not just money. Like, it's not what its purpose exists for. And I struggle with functioning in the modern world. And I know like I'm kind of getting off kind of topic with this a little bit, but when I see things like you went out and you spent all this money and you produced all of this content, and even though the content wasn't the best content, like even if it wasn't the greatest content in the world, or even if it was that whatever, like content is content and media is media, and somebody loved it and somebody cared about it and somebody put a lot of effort into it. And the creation process of making a film, making a television show, making it is a creative process. It's an art process, and it's not a manufacturing process. And you can try to make it a manufacturing process all you want, but there's still love and art and care that goes into every one of these, no matter what, because that's what this is. That's what this thing is. It is an art. It's a love. It's a care process. And when you give it to people, its job is to evoke emotions. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? So its whole purpose in existence is to make you feel happy, sad, joy. You're going to bring this with you potentially for the rest of your life. There are movies that you're going to love and hate and cherish for all of eternity, and you're going to want to see those forever if you love them and you care about them. Some kid at some point during this cataloging of all of this shit latched on to one of these movies, because these movies were dumped out in a time period when these kids were being handed shit during the streaming service, and some kid out there, this is one of their favorite fucking movies. Just happened during this time period.
100%.
One of these shows was one of these kids' favorite shows. Somebody loves this shit. And now it's being taken away from them. And it's not just being taken away from them in a way where it's like, well, maybe someday there's an archive out there where they'll find it, or there's a place where they'll be able to find it because it was made, because it was filmed on film, because these are not even filmed on physical stuff anymore. Like, they're shot directly onto a hard drive, put right onto a computer, edited on a computer. Somebody goes, you know what, I don't want this, gone from eternity.
See ya.
Like, it's so easy to just kill what we create in this world, and it's so easy to look at it as money. And we shouldn't ever be looking at art and creation as money. And to look at the current, I mean, even if you look at the evolution of film to see how we got to where we are now, even the 90s, even at like the peak of like where film was really like an industry, like machine pumping out shit, we were never where we are now. It was never like, I don't remember film companies just making shit for the purpose of tax write-offs, like for billions of dollars in tax write-offs. Like, this shit's ridiculous. Like, this is just fucking stupid. What we're doing right now is stupid. We're creating art for the purpose of dumping it in a trash can so that you can get tax write-offs, so that your construct can get thicker. Fuck you.
I don't think they're doing it with the purpose of doing that, but I do think they're abandoning projects because they're not profitable. They're taking something that didn't maybe meet their expectations for profitability and then shit-canning it. I don't think they go into it intending to.
Don't get me wrong.
Tax write-offs, I think they're not getting quite.
I also think you're
But it's
I
all
also
fucked
think
up.
you're wasting money on garbage projects. I think if you invested in better quality projects, that we could have better art and have better things that people would want for longer periods of time, that you wouldn't have to do things like this. But also, I think that things like this are just symptomatic of capitalism in the world that we exist in. And that capitalism is just going to keep things like this existing because art in a capitalistic world is always going to be created for the purpose of money, not for the purpose of art. And it is always going to be created for the purpose of shit like this. But that's not what art is for. And so it always sickens me when I see stuff like this, because in my eyes, it should be all preserved, no matter what, no matter how low on the level it is. Even if it's a shit tier or whatever. Like, the worst film deserves to sit in a vault with the best film.
It should be for everybody to see. If you make it and you put the money into it and you put it out there and people have a chance to see it, they should always have a chance to see it. And that's what Disney was trying to do. And that's what they said they were doing to us. They were giving us something and not taking away ever again. The vault was gone and they lied to us. That's what it is at the end of the day. And unfortunately, it's a big fuck you to the fans. And that's Disney Plus.
Anyways, there was a comment. Chris, I didn't say Disney World was queer or gay unfriendly. I said the state of Florida, the government is unfriendly. Ron DeSantis is unfriendly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
I just re-commented on that, and he is. But like the fact that Disney has taken a stand against that, I think is actually admirable because
I support Disney, and I'm going to the gay Disney event in California. But it's really hard to watch firsthand queer people and trans people fleeing from the state of Florida because they're afraid for their lives.
It's fucked up.
That's hard to watch and to aggregate with wanting to spend money there.
But like for Disney to take a stand and not deal with his bullshit, A, and then B, like pull out $1 billion development that they were going to build. I literally said he, like as if Walt Disney was still alive. I'm like, good old Walt. He's gonna do this. Ridiculous.
Don't fuck with the Walt.
But like the fact that they are doing that, I think is like a huge, amazing step in the right direction. And I don't think a lot of companies would do that.
If I could fly onto Walt Disney World property and not give land on tax dollars to Florida, I would absolutely
just parachute into Epcot. Like just parachute me in there.
I mean, leave them alone. Leave them the fuck alone, Ron DeSantis. That's all I can say. Leave them alone. They've been doing their thing for how long? Leave them the fuck alone. Why do you, as a politician, why do you mess with that shit? You came into this shit. How many Democrats, Republicans, fucking independents have left them alone? Leave
that guy is unhinged. I can't with that. I can't with that. I really can't.
It's gonna fuck with tax dollars with Disney and Universal and fuck Miami. Like, gay people love Florida. Why are you fucking with your bread and butter?
Gay people love Florida.
So if you
don't take Florida from us,
unfriendly from gay people, you're gonna lose billions in tax dollars.
Magical place in the fucking world. Leave it alone.
It's so dumb. Like honestly, the whole thing is dumb.
Disney doesn't hate trans people. Universal Studios hates trans people.
Oh, is that a thing?
Because
Harry Potter.
Oh, because of Harry Potter. God damn it, Lexi. We can't get through one podcast without Harry Potter.
Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate you as always. It's been a great Friday night. And before I do my little send-off here, we have to do one more drink because it's Friday.
Drink.
We got to do a drink. To everybody, happy Friday. It's Friday the 19th of May. We're halfway through the month. So, cuddle up next to your couple.
Did I fail?
So,
I did too, Lexi. Me and you did the same thing.
You got to do another one. I'm going to toast. You got to do another one. Okay. I haven't said my piece yet. I'm still talking. So, it's Friday the 19th of May. We're halfway through. We're almost to summer. Enjoy the time you have with your loved ones. And thank you so much for being on Cruise Control. We love you so much. Regardless, we fight, we argue, we have a good time. We sometimes agree. We always are here for you. Thank you for joining us. 313 subscribers. We love you so much. Happy Friday, everybody. That's what we drink. We drink for you and for us and for the world. Here we go. Happy Friday.
For the world. To the world.
To the world.